Gilbert Brutus, and Carney makes a horrible mess of that restart. And he'll just want the ground to open up underneath him on his return to Catalan.
It's not the first time this season he's done that, has it, as a restart? Not taking it in, drifting away towards the sideline. Well, he had a pretty quiet first half. It's a terrible start to the second, but I think he's mentally strong enough to cope with that and recover. He won't let his head drop. Can he do enough to lift his team?
I'll say that inside the first minute of the second half, you're looking at the game here. If the Catalan Dragons score in this set of 6, that's a disaster for the Red Devils.
Will they make Todd Carney pay for that error? They have head and feet of that scrum, and they're looking to profit from it now with Justin Horro, Griffin, Kopchak and co with the tackling. And now Mikel Simon driving the ball towards that Salford Red Devils line. Salford trailing by 14 points to 0. Walsh shows the ball to Bousquet, and Bousquet again, the big man taking on Salford, draining the energy right at the start of the second half. Ayton fires the pass, but Simon is well dealt with. Robert Louis with the tackle. Good work it was then. Lamatassi in there as well. 4 tackles gone. Salford holding out at the moment. Myler would love to score against his former club. Richie Myler made 53 appearances for Salford when he's with the club. And then Walsh hoists this kick. If Salford can withstand this pressure, it's a good result for them. And Carney gathers the ball and will look to race back to the 20. It's good work from the Salford Red Devils.
Well, he very often can spark the revival, Justin Carney. He positioned himself well to take the kick, and the 2 wingermen have certainly got his team up onto the halfway line in 2 plays. They've got 5 remaining in this set, but they need to push up and get a bit closer to the ball carrier.
George Griffin now. Robert Louis, here is Dobson. Now Carney. Carney swings the ball on. O'Brien is tackled. Wellham. Carney. He will be very relieved that Catalan didn't profit from his error right at the start of the second half. And now Salford coming forward and looking to post points for the first time in the game, and Ryan Lannon plays the ball. Robert Louis, great position for them here now. Carney looking to use his strength, but they muscle up and stop his progress, and that'll be the turnover. And it was good defensive work on that occasion from the Catalan Dragons.
Well, I know he's good, but they're expecting quite a lot of him there in that 2-metre channel to get in between the Catalan defence of Fuad Yaha and Krishnan Inu. 2 big men that he wouldn't be able to power through.
Perhaps that's, one of the players who would be affected more than others. That's a purely power game Justin Carney is based upon. Just imagine backing up Friday to Monday. It's not an awful time to get rest and recuperation when you base your game around power exclusively.
Move back.
Gigot tackled.
Go 3 now.
No sign of Josh Jones out on the field at the moment by the look of things.
4. Move.
Picked up that knock in the first half.
4. Keep coming, Ryan. Cheers. 4.
Walsh. Justin Horro now.
No, surrender.
That was nice footwork.
He got injured there. It seemed to obviously ran behind one of his teammates, stopped and dropped to the ground to concede the tackle and avoid a penalty.
It's a night fever type move from Justin Horro there. Just needed some glitter. Here's Greg Johnson, but that's good work from Krishnan Inu to cut down the wingman. But here's the opposite winger, Justin Carney.
2. Referee, go.
Carney plays the ball. Some urgency. Here is Josh Jones back in the action. Some urgency about Salford at the start of this second half. Craig Kopchak now.
Move. Hold. Go. 3.
Robert Louis. Carney. Wellham.
4.
His progress is stopped.
Hold. Go. 4.
Carney once more. 40 metres out now, the Salford Red Devils, and Louis to Dobson. O'Brien on to Josh Jones. Jones, a strong figure running out wide. Dobson, they're keeping this alive as Salford. Looking threatening, the Red Devils.
Hold. Go. Okay, both square.
Robert Louis. O'Brien hoists the kick towards Fuad Yaha's wing, and the young wingman claims that one confidently enough.
Well, the Catalan Dragons have prepped well for Salford's attack, and they've coped with it, haven't they? They've had defenders in the right place at the right time to stop Salford.
Wait for it.
But the Reds here are pushing hard to force that error from the Dragons at this part of the field.
Here's Vincent Dupont, bagged a brace in the first half with those two finishes. Two smart bits of finishing as well. Louis Anderson gets the pass away to Thornley. Thornley, a strong physical winger. Greg Johnson, though, is his match. Myler, the pass.
5, move, hold, go 5.
On to, I think it was Thibaut Marglet who's on the field, and then the
10 lads.
Kick. It's a deep one.
Play on now.
But O'Brien underneath it. And here's Carney now. Carney on the counter. Josh Jones, and Jones stopped by Fuad Yaha.
Well, at times Salford have been good when they've stretched the field. They've made it wider than when they have the ball and narrower when their opponents are in possession. And Justin Carney's trying his best to find a hole in the defensive line ahead of him.
Bit of aggression from Carney there. Hand in the face of Fuad Yaha, and it was Benjamin Garcia who eventually stopped his progress. Robert Louis picks that ball up from between his toes. Carney, good hands. Flanagan. Salford menacing at the start of this second half. Carney. Dobson. Here's Josh Jones.
5, move, go.
Jones plays the ball. Dobson on the last, kicks cross field. Wellham climbs for it. Oh, they couldn't get there, and it's Myler who picks it up. Johnson, it just wouldn't sit up for him.
Well, we've only been playing for a few minutes, but the Catalan Dragons are nervously defending the lead at present out. They're on their own line and under pressure, and it's a test to see whether they've got the same attitude here. Now that they have that 14-point lead, to still remain playing with the same speed and urgency that they had in the first 40.
Oh, Gigo. The pass to Louis Anderson, and Anderson just snatched at that a bit. Aiton. Walsh drifting, pass out to Krishnan Inu. Remember, Inu could be in trouble with the disciplinary for his tackle early in the game. Walsh. Here's Benjamin Garcia. Garcia appealing for a penalty there. Very few penalties in this game. Walsh hoists a high kick, and oh, Johnson lets that one bounce on. Myler very nearly punished him for it.
Well, that's the second kick that's really caused problems for the Salford Red Devils from the boot of Luke Walsh. Look how close this was to being an opportunity for Richie Myler following up.
That would have been some finish.
Well, it looks like it has to be a knock-on from Myler, the way it's gone forward at the rate it has.
Just remember, from a Dragons point of view, they don't need to go and win this game again. They're 14 points in front, and that should inform the way that they play in this second half. No need to take as many risks.
Wait for it, Rob. There's a knock-on.
Kopjak high on Garcia. At least that seems to be the view of the French director.
0.
But nothing given. And Salford survive again. And as we've mentioned in the first half, that 14-0 up isn't necessarily secure for the Catalan Dragons. That's what they led the Widnes Vikings by a few weeks ago and ended up having to settle for a point. Oh, and Johnson is the latest to come up with a handling error, maybe for the fading Salford Red Devils. The tiredness perhaps creeping in.
It looked to be their best hope, didn't it? We've only played for a few minutes in the second half, but by stretching the opposition defence, making the pitch seem wider than what it is, it was the best hope of perhaps finding the gaps in this Dragons defence. It's been quite impressive for almost 50 minutes.
Tough couple of games coming up for the Catalan Dragons after this. They've got Wigan away and Wakefield on the road as well. Salford, an interesting assignment for them next up. They're in action in the Cup against Toronto.
It'll be an adjustment for them. Todd Carney has been an inauspicious start to his career as a Salford Red Devil. He's certainly got the skills. He's a quality player, a class act on his day. He needs to find his feet quickly.
Him being tackled in possession, though. Can you can you, John? I don't see him running at the defence very often.
On you, Rich.
He very much looks like a man who's finding his feet at the moment.
Well, that latest error from the Salford Red Devils gives the Catalan Dragons possession once more. Salford making a rod for their own backs in that respect. And here is Thibaut Margalet, the 24-year-old former Saint-Estève player. Walsh, Myler, Louis Anderson. Brother Vinny still in France, player coach at a small local club near Carcassonne. Here is Julien Bousquet. Bousquet plays the ball. Bosk is on. Myler, quick hands and good defence from Johnson. Very quickly up on Thornley to stop his progress, but quick play of the ball. Crossfield kick from Myler. Inu will climb for it and claim the try. And he does that so well, Krishnan Inu. He might hear more about this game after the incident in the first half when he was involved in a dubious tackle, but he is so good at reading those kicks. Referee Phil Bentham has gone to referee James Child, video ref James Child, to check, presumably, the onside.
It'll be the onside first. It's very difficult to call that back for onside. Then it'll be whether it's a clean catch. And that looks to me, at first glance, like the video referee would have very little to be able to alter the decision, which I'm assuming was an on-field try. It's a clean catch. It's a really, really smart catch from
Hard to
Krishnan
tell
Inu.
from this angle whether the players are exactly onside, isn't it? You
can't disallow that.
He's Justin Horrow offside. The man with the headband, number 12, is he within a 10-metre radius of where the ball comes down?
Has to be a try.
That should be a try, surely. James Child, video ref, has had a couple of looks at that. Has Krishnan Inu extended the Catalan Dragons' lead? That he has. Gets his third try of the season, but courtesy of that pinpoint kick.
Well, that's where Myler does well, doesn't he? He chases kicks better than a lot of half-backs, and he's certainly put one in there that's probably going to tip this win in favour. He's put it over the top of a smaller player, and Krishnan Inu, the size and the skill here, the overhead catch is significant. Over the top of Dobson, landing on a number 7. This is going to be 6 more points on the board.
Yeah, he knows the significance of that. I would imagine in his career he's been on the other end of those, dropping it right on the head of one of the smallest guys on the field. And Luke Walsh, well, I'll back him to add the extra 2 here.
That he does, and it becomes a taller order for the Salford Red Devils now. They started this second half despite the error from Todd Carney, but there's been a lot of urgency about them, but this has taken some of the steam.
It's the quality of the kick that allows Inu to get up. Such a clean catch, and he's affected change in a positive way for his club there.
Catches win matches, don't we? We saw Greg Johnson drop the ball. He couldn't catch the one when it was thrown out with him with space ahead of it, and that from Krishnan Inu has put 6 more points on the board and now given a 20-point gap between them and the Devils.
He's had a solid season so far as Krishnan Inu. Missed only 1 game after a few problems earlier in his career. Certainly the knee injury that he suffered against Salford last April set him back. But he recovered from that, and he's been virtually ever present this season, and he's added his name to the score sheet at the Gilbert Brutus, where Catalan Dragons lead Salford by 20 points to 0. Here is Benjamin Garcia back at the Catalan Dragons after his spell playing in Australia. Bosk. And here's Remy Casti now. This is his 32nd consecutive appearance, which is some achievement for a player who really does put his body on the line for his hometown club. The ball is claimed by Thornley, and Dupont, little chip kick ahead from him, and Dobson, neat hands to defuse the danger.
Good clean-up from Dobson as well. Gareth O'Brien is your fullback, committed to the catch, and he was out of action. Dobson realised that and put himself just outside the back of the defensive line to clean up anything else.
Catalan looking for 3 wins in a row, and their first win at home since February the 11th. The Gilbert Brutus hasn't been the fortress that you normally think But the days are getting warmer and sunnier, and maybe that's going to change.
Yeah, they need to rebuild their reputation as Todd Carney goes for a 40-20 to the sideline.
And he could maybe have nailed it. No, it just doesn't have the legs, and Gigot picks up for the Catalan Dragons.
Gets towards the centre of the field. He's done well enough, hasn't he? Got over the 20-metre line.
Back up, Salford.
Good return from the fullback, Tony Gigot. Well, good return in other ways as well. Back in the side, and Myler shimmying his way through. Richie Myler looking over his shoulder in the rear view mirror, and has gone from one side of the field to the other. And Krishnan Inu, slightly less subtle approach from Inu. Plenty of tackles this set of 6 for the Catalan Dragons. This is ominous as Margalet drives it in.
Held! Release!
Referee calls held. 20 metres out. Oh, and Walsh stepping from Walsh. Walsh gets the pass away, and he couldn't find his man, and it's Craig Kopczak who gathers it. And Kopczak, the scent of the try line in his nostrils, goes upfield. Has he lost that ball?
Justin Horrow and Tony Gigot think he has. It was an amazing run by the front rower. Luke Walsh takes on the defence. He's cut between 2 or 3 players and looked for that offloaded pass to Bosch on the inside, but it falls into them. Here's the break by Rich Myler. Gets inside 1 or 2 players, but a disappointing aspect, I think, for Laurent Fressignou is the lack of support. He's had to wait for about 6 seconds till he can find a player to pass the ball to. And even then, Inu's outnumbered by 3 defenders, but then they counter-attack Salford. And just about perhaps a knock on the floor, missed by the referee and touch judge.
Hold.
Yeah, you mentioned that Richie Myler break, and who would you like to come motoring up to gather that ball? Playing in the Wigan colours at Wakefield earlier in the day, Morgan Escaré, but he's not part of the Catalan setup anymore. And doing very well with his new club, Escaré. Josh Jones just standing, looking for somebody, but eventually takes the tackle.
Hold. Don't hold him, Josh. 5.
Carney, Dobson, big kick from Dobson, and Gigot underneath it. Carney was very quickly on him, but Gigot kept his eyes on the ball all the way there.
Excellent take from the fullback. It was a spiralled, lofted bomb from Dobson, and then O'Brien streaked through the eye line just before the ball came down. Really confident stuff.
3.
Here's Ian Thornley, a try scorer in 3 of the last 5. The former Wigan man. Ooh, Horrow's gone down there, and he's in pain, Justin Horrow.
Yeah, there's a knee or a hamstring gone here.
That was evident even before the tackle had been made, and Carney came in, but by that time Horrow was already heading for the ground. And look at the concern on the face of Justin Horrow.
Is it left knee, left ankle? 2 or 3 steps before there was any contact.
Sorry, James.
It looks to be the ankle that he's holding. Oh, tell me that's not an Achilles.
Yes, I think you're right.
He knows straight away, doesn't he? He does his best to get off, take all the weight off that left foot.
Go in tackle 4.
Justin Horrow is only just back in the side after injury. Missed a couple of games, but he could be missing a few more now.
Yeah, it's as he lands, I think. He realises really quickly that there's something not right. There's something that's gone wrong with that ankle complex. And we hope it's not as serious as it looks, but he's done for the night.
And Catalan are doing it tough this season in terms of injuries. They don't get out for a couple of weeks, do they?
No, it's a serious injury, and they've got to play on. But they're fortunate at this stage with the 20-point lead. Just less than 25 minutes to go. It does look like this could be a significant spell on the sidelines for Justin Horrow. He charged forward, hadn't he? Him and Louis Anderson looked really dangerous, and they were making ground earlier on. Supporters showing their appreciation. Not often this year. They sat in the sun and celebrated with a 20-point lead, just over 20 minutes to go. But this is what the Dragons fans want and expect to see.
I haven't seen an awful lot of it this season, certainly not on home soil. But Catalan going into this after those 2 good away wins. This game rounding off the Easter Monday fixtures, and it has been a lively Easter Monday. Castleford Tigers beaten for only the 2nd time this season.
First.
Salford with the other side to beat them until today. St Helens
Hold. Don't hold him,
getting
Greg,
the
come
edge.
on. One.
Here is Chris Wellham
Two.
now.
Move.
Can Salford find a way back into this game? Have they got the energy? Well, Catalan having to reshuffle with Justin Horro out of the game by the look of things. And Dobson,
Four.
Griffin,
Move.
just over the halfway line,
Come on, fellas. Go. Four.
plays that ball.
Keep 'em honest.
Ryan Lannon now.
5. Move,
Steady
Sal.
progress upfield from the Red Devils. Flanagan, Dobson hoists the kick, and Fuad Yaha has to retreat and claims it well and gets away from Dobson's chase and will return it quickly, but then runs into Craig Kopjak.
And if he catches the ball, he certainly takes some stopping. He's put a dent in two Salford defenders, and Tony Guijo now takes them up forward again. The control has been impressive. In fact, we asked at half-time whether they could concentrate for long enough to play as well as they had for full 80, and it appears so far so good.
Oh, Samoa's ball to Richie Myler was dubious.
Goal 3, okay.
Bosk across the field. Here is Busquet. Oh, lovely offload from Busquet to Krishnan Inu, and Inu hopping his way out of the first tackle, but is then brought down by Gareth O'Brien, 20 metres out. Salford's defence in a bit of disarray. Myler back in field. Remy Casti.
5. Move.
That's the 5th
Go
tackle.
line, Salford.
Bang in front of those posts. Bosk back to Walsh. I thought Walsh was going to go for one then. Instead hoists the kick. It's worked once, but this time Carney claims it, and Carney will counter for the Salford Red Devils.
Well, it's head to head. Here he goes, and he's going all the way.
On the counter, and Carney will get there. Dupont can't stop him. And Justin Carney has found a way back for the Salford Red Devils, claiming that kick at one end of the field and going the whole way to give the Salford Red Devils a lifeline. 3rd try of the season.
Well, they needed a dramatic game-changing moment to give themselves some hope in this match, and they've had it. What could have been a try at one end was a brilliant overhead catch. He outpaces the winger Fuad Yaha. Then he has Luke Walsh to contend with. He's running the ball on the left hand, but he knows his pace and confidence. He's worked hard, got little action earlier in the game, has more involvement than it's gone on, and this 4 points here could be the start of a Salford revival.
And significantly, Bill, it's against the run of play, isn't it? It's against the run of play. Justin Carney has gone 100 metres to drag the Salford Red Devils back into this game. Gareth O'Brien gets the opportunity of adding the extra 2, which should be a formality for a kicker of the calibre that he is. But after a quiet start to the game, Carney's exploded into life. A 100-metre contribution.
3rd try of the season then for Justin Carney. And Gareth O'Brien, the £1 million man, with an important kick for Salford to lift their spirits. Well, Carney's try has lifted their spirits, and the flags are up. Just saw it out of the corner of the picture.
Well, games can change in dramatic moments. You don't always have to be playing at your best, but you need an element of luck and a moment of inspiration, which is what Justin Carney has potentially provided here for Salford and their supporters in the south of France. They've added it to 2 points, and they've got nothing to lose. Only the Tigers have made more breaks than Salford so far this season. They've got attacking ability to score the points if they can believe now, and certainly play with a skill. The passing has to be very good here now to stretch and evade any of the defenders that Catalan throw around.
Still plenty of time for the Salford Red Devils to mount their fight back. A quarter of the game to go, in fact. And Catalan missing Justin Horro. Very solid second row. Good defensive work, and he's out of the game by the look of things. And here's Robert Louis. And we've seen the ability the Salford Red Devils have to trouble defences. And Gareth O'Brien takes the tackle. So Catalan might not be home and dry yet. Krasnicki stopped in his tracks. Bosk and Samoa it was on the last, and Dobson hoists a good kick, and the sun, well, setting at the far end of the pitch, and maybe a problem, but not on that occasion with that kick.
Yep, miscued and overcooked, unfortunately. It gives the Catalan Dragons a 7-tackle set. Just on Horo's withdrawal from the game through injury, he was one part of a duo that was really jumping out of the line. There's the other man that I'm going to refer to, Luke Walsh. Justin Horo was the leader there, and he's the man who stands next to Luke Walsh in defence and gives him the confidence to go out the line and turn the Red Devils back on the inside. You know, his foil has gone now. It'd be interesting to see whether Salford make any further attempts to get down there now.
Bosk, Myler, Casti, Flanagan and co make the tackle.
Hold, goal 2.
Thomas Bosk. He'll be fresh. He was sub against Huddersfield and didn't even get on the field.
Hold.
Well, they need his experience here now, won't they? He's got to make the right decisions with that 14-point advantage. Kick, and Myler's after it.
Good kick from... Oh, and Myler will gather the ball. Richie Myler with an outrageous try. And no wonder he's celebrating. A newborn and a try that maybe sees off Salford's renaissance.
Well, there isn't a half-back who chases kicks better or with more enthusiasm and pace than Richard Myler. And every now and again, one bounces in your favour. Very often he scores through some grubbers that Luke Walsh has put in. Here's a downfield kick aimed at gaining ground, but he's taken full advantage here. And to the delight of himself and his family, it's 4 points, which will certainly here put 2 points more on the league table for the Dragons.
Now, Richie Myler's efforts off the ball have turned an 8 out of 10 kick into a 10 out of 10 kick, and the best possible return for the Catalan Dragons. You don't chase them, Richie, you don't get the opportunities. It's a good lesson for any up-and-coming young player. You chase the lost cause, you chase the dead end, and every now and again something like that'll happen, and you get the opportunity to re-establish your authority in a game over your opposition. It was Luke Walsh with a kick, the chase and the bounce, and Myler puts the Dragons 24-6 up, kick to come.
Well, normally we see that Walsh-Myler combination from about 10 metres out to the last play, and Walsh is trying to bounce one under the post for Myler to follow up, and this was a long way out, but they were on the same wavelength, and great combination. And Walsh, 100% record with his goal kicking in this game, and that 90% plus goal kicking average looks very healthy indeed. Well, this bounce though was awful as far as Salford were concerned.
Well, there's not a lot Gareth O'Brien can do. He can't get it to take it on the full, and on that surface it's bounced favourably for the home side, and he's delighted. What a great week that'll be for him.
Plenty to smile about in the Myler household, and not a lot to smile about for the Salford Red Devils. 26-6 now the scoreline, and Salford, well, they've just got a lifeline, that Carney try, and you can't legislate for wizardry like that.
No, but it's fascinating to see whether Catalan can continue to play as well in the remaining minutes of this match as they did in the first hour. Are they a real top 8 contender, or is this just a bit of luck with the ball bouncing in their favour?
Well, as I said, they've got these 2 tough games to come, Wigan away, Wakefield away, but they've shown in the last couple of weeks that on the road this season they have the ability to win. Wins at Lee and Huddersfield. Salford, this short turnaround might be coming home now, because it's a lot to ask. They had a tough game as Myler puts in a great kick, a tough game against the Lee Centurions, which they won, but then they've got to travel, and Easter is hard enough as it is.
Also a bit of protection for their own pack of forwards there. The kick now drilled into touch. They've got the advantage, probably the game-winning advantage of the Catalan Dragons. They're looking after their own forward pack there. The likes of Remy Casti and Samoa in the background. They'll be appreciative of that. It's knowing where you are in a game. They talk about game management all the time. Knowing how long's left on the clock, knowing what the players around you, what physical condition they're in, and acting accordingly.
Out.
Head and feed to Salford, and Wellham skirts the first tackle attempt from Mikel Simon a bit too easily, but then the pass is not a good one, and Carney picks it up.
2. Move.
At pace, and you don't want that happening to you with Justin Carney in possession. Lamatasi now.
3. Move.
Salford won't be giving this one up yet, and Catalan may be a bit flaky.
Nice skills there.
Put under pressure, Robert Louis. Lovely work from Robert Louis. He's got Dobson in support. Oh, the pass is intercepted by Gigot, and Gigot puts the step on, and Tony Gigot could go all the way here. The chase is coming back, but Olsi Krasnicki can't catch him, and a salute to the supporters from Tony Gigot, and that surely does seal the win for the Catalan Dragons. Gigot is back.
It's brilliant. It's quite brilliant, and let me tell you why. The Dragons, for the first time, got exposed down that right edge with Luke Walsh jumping out of the line. Horrow's not there to support him. The gamble you take as a fullback, one-on-one, I mean, that takes bravery. Even at the position where you are in the game, it's the golden play.
He's a risk-taking maverick, and it's almost like a goalkeeper save. He dives to his left to intercept the ball and has the skills to take it in. You know what an amazing few months he's had. Obviously, banned at one time for 2 years. They're saying it's a try. There's no doubt about that. That's been confirmed. That's a great try for Tony Gigot. And I suppose some people may have wondered why Morgan Escrier was allowed to leave the Dragons, but the coach and the club believe that Tony Gigot was a better long-term option to play in that position, more durable, and at times can still come up with the same sort of tries. It's a great conversion try, isn't it? Intercepted at one end.
Well, he's really matured as a player. I mean, don't forget, he's actually re-signed for the Dragons. Left, came over for a short stint and played for the London Broncos a few years ago. Ended up playing in the French lower leagues for a while, and lost to the game. Well, the crowd there, they've been treated to something special. It's put the cap on I think an excellent performance from the Catalan Dragons. Conservative when it needed to be, but with all that Gallic flair that we expect when it counted, and topped off by a wonder try from Tony Gigot.
3 in a row for the fullback. He scored against Lee, he scored against the Giants, now he scored against the Salford Red Devils. A game now probably too far away for Salford to come back. But this is interesting. Luke Walsh has missed very few goal kicks this season. But this is tall order even for somebody kicking as productively as he is. Wide out. And Walsh, 100% in this game. Oh, he's just pushed it across the face of the post. He'll be furious about that. It matters that much.
Well, Robert Louis has been sensational at times this season. He thinks this is another try for the Salford side. Looks to find Michael Dobson, but it's a perfectly timed interception. It's a rare skill. Very few players even attempt to go for it. They're more content to play the conservative option, go for the tackle. Lee Briers-esque almost. He was one of the most famous players over the last 10 or 15 years who would invariably attempt that play.
And if it doesn't come off, you look an idiot, don't you?
You do, yes, and you get criticised using the commentary box, but he's taken that risky play and it's come off for him.
Hold.
There is a bit of a cavalier side to Tony Gigot's game, and sometimes it doesn't come off, but it certainly did there, and Salford penalised. Adam Wall not impressed with that decision. £30 points to 6. Salford trail in Perpignan, and their winning sequence coming to an end. They were going for 6 in a row with this one, and a share of the Super League leadership. They'll have to settle for the second, or third, I beg your pardon,
Goal 2.
after this Easter weekend. And hey, It's not bad going for the side that was involved in the £1 million game just a few months ago and was at risk of going out of Super League. Here they are, disappointed with not having a share of the leadership.
No, I think that's largely in part to the influence, the trust placed, first of all, in Ian Watson, and the influence, the growing influence he's had, and the trust placed in him by the players.
Walsh goes for one, and he doesn't miss that. Luke Walsh adds one more to the Catalan Dragons tally just to make the task even harder for the Salford Red Devils.
It'd be hard to find a kicker of the ball who's had a better weekend than this, Luke Walsh here. His kick for the try from Myler, his goal kicks, and then the full bag of tricks. The kick though, the drop goal, 1 point. He's content, isn't it? It's been a very good day. We talk about the sun shining in the south of France and the significance of that for Salford. The timing of when you have to play Catalans away from home. Unfortunately for Salford, they've gone on the wrong time and met them in the wrong mood.
And for Luke Walsh as well, sometimes it takes a change of scenery to really reignite a career. And he came over with a big reputation, former Penrith player. Didn't enjoy the best of times at St Helens, but wow, looks to have really recaptured some form in the south of France.
First time this season that Salford have conceded 30 plus. But this is what can happen after a grueling Easter weekend. Lamatasi swinging in there on Remy Casti. Casti, phlegmatic as ever, just gets up, gets on with the business.
Nice offload from Moa, and the tip-on play.
Bosk tips it on, it didn't quite stick, but Catalan keep possession. Garcia gets away from Carney's challenge and still going. And eventually it's Ryan Lannon who wrestles him to the ground, and there's a hand in his face there.
We'll come back up there for the high tackle on Benjamin Garcia. Todd Carney sort of committed it and then released him and let him play on.
Garcia riding the challenges.
They've had some bad experiences at home, Catalan, but I get the feeling in the next 10 minutes they really want to ram home their advantage, show the supporters what they're capable of, and put a few more points on the board.
Well, you say it, points on the board is important. It's going to be significant in this Super League season, I think, more than ever. The results today, you know, really, they've blown the table wide open in terms of who your contenders are, but they've congested the table as well. Points difference is huge.
Here's Mikel Simon now for the Catalan Dragons. 31-6 they lead.
2-on-2.
Walsh. Garcia takes the pass, gets it away to Thornley. Thornley, back of the hand. Catalan keeping it alive with Thibaut Margalet. Margalet is held, cries referee Phil Bentham. Walsh, change of direction from him. Here's Garcia. On to Duport. Duport on a hat-trick, can't quite reach out for that try line.
Goal for
Walsh. That's a stray pass which Paul Ayton retrieves. And they've lost ground of the Catalan Dragons. Dobson tracking him across the field, and then Griffin comes and makes the tackle.
Move! Hold Salford. Go
20 metres out. And will Walsh go for another one-pointer? He will. And again, he's on target. His third drop goal of the season. That's 2 in this game. And just rubbing salt in Salford's wounds, Luke Walsh.
Well, it seems to be the easiest way to get possession back. Puts it over, puts one more point on the scoreboard, and another smile on the faces of all the fans who've turned up there. It's been a while since they've really had something to cheer about for the Dragons. A performance of this magnitude, really, of this quality.
Yes, the Catalan supporters, certainly when they were going through that 4-game slump and they were blowing leads as they did against the Widnes Vikings, the supporters weren't in such good heart then, and you did fear for the future of the coaching setup. And it's good to see that they've been patient and understanding. And of course they have got Greg Bird out injured, Jody Broughton unavailable today to play against his former club, and now Justin Horrow looks to have joined the long-term injury list.
Move! Hold!
32-6 the scoreline now.
There's been some significant squad development here as well, particularly a stream of young French players that have really augmented this Catalan side.
Lambert Belmas playing in the last game, and Walsh, who has managed this game so well for the Catalan Dragons, putting another excellent kick in.
They're so demoralising. When you're on the end of this, you're at the wrong side of the scoreboard and the wrong side of the territory battle. And Luke Walsh, well, he's not in a mood to let up, is he? The energy that it takes out of Salford, just turning them round, walking them down to the other end of the field again.
It's like pushing them to the bottom of the hill. I think that's metaphorically what happens, isn't it? When you have to walk back to that part of the field, start with a scrum, and then face a wall of defences, and it's a test here now. Let's just see what sort of intensity the Catalan have in the defence in the last 10 minutes.
Chris Wellham is stopped by Garcia's tackle. Todd Carney, disappointing return to Perpignan for Carney.
Move, Remy. Hold.
And a disappointing visit to south of France, all told, for the Salford Red Devils.
3. Move. Right side. Wait. Goal 3.
Here is Olsi Krasnicki, George Griffin.
4.
Salford
Go. Okay,
winners against Lee on Good Friday, hoping they were for an Easter double.
5.
Not to be.
Wait. Go.
It'll be Catalan who will be celebrating a very good Easter for them. Their Easter came early with that midweek win at Huddersfield last Wednesday, and that could be one of the keys to this, but they could yet have a say in the finish of this game, although the pass from Greg Johnson infield is caught by Thornley.
That's a good recovery from the Catalan left edge, because they fell for Josh Jones. The winger, with Thornley or Dupont, dropped in and allowed Greg Johnson a little bit of space on the outside, but they recovered well. And it'll be important to Lauren Fresno in this Catalan team to keep that score in the against box from Salford as low and as insignificant as possible.
Well, before the game, we thought this game could end up 32-all. That was the prediction, wasn't it? When we looked at previous encounters between these two sides, well, Catalan's defence has been good enough. They've kept Salford to 6, and they're all smiles.
And Salford's wretched run in south of France continues. They've failed to win now on the last 6 visits here.
3.
And this, the heaviest defeat of their season so far. Disappointing for them. Bousquet. There's an incident in back play.
Well, Lamatasi, I think, tackled Luke Walsh late. That was where the Dragons are unhappy with it. He's attempted to draw the defender. Tazi has a right then to make the tackle if he gets the right time. It shows that they're still committed. Salford team, they're not giving this away here. Look, he's thrown and delayed the pass. Is it a shoulder charge? Not really. I mean, we're now watching in slow motion, which makes it even more difficult. But I think he's committed to the tackle.
It's a shot. It's not late, but it's a shoulder charge, I think. Or not ridiculously late, anyway. Remy Casti, one of the ones who took exception to that, and the penalty goes the Catalan Dragons' way after a little bit of input from the touch judge. Happy set of fans, though, Bill. I imagine they've seen arguably the best performance of the season from the Dragons.
This is more like it, they'll be thinking from their side.
Yeah, summer's on the way, it's getting warmer. We're going to enjoy coming watching our team play here and watch them win some more matches.
Come on, Lammy. Hey.
And then we'll go back into the town and frequent some of the excellent hostelries, as you can do, and no doubt the Salford Red Devils supporters who've made the journey will be probably doing that, or heading back to Lorette, where a lot of them base themselves.
2. Move, Chris.
Maybe not such a jolly, but it'll wear off in the end. Here's Walsh. Simon.
3.
It is. It's Thomas Bosca, beg your pardon, who takes the tackle.
Goal 3.
About 12 metres out. Not another one from Walsh, surely no. Keeps it alive on this occasion. Here is Julien Bousquet. Bousquet. Walsh trying everything now from his book of tricks. Shaped for a little chip and chase there. Margalet is tackled.
Goal line, Salford.
Into the last 5 minutes. Sam Moa fancied his chances there, but Salford's defence is strong. Right to the final whistle.
Back.
Determination from the Red Devils. Walsh, little chip kick, and Gigot will chase this one, and it's batted behind in the end by Greg Johnson.
Well, when he's on form, I don't know if there's a better player with an attacking, kicking game than Luke Walsh. He's been given the space, he's been complimented with the runners behind the kicks as well. But again, it forces a goal line dropout for Catalan. They've not been very successful at scoring from them this year. They've had a few, but rarely have they turned it into points. Will they be able to do it in the final stages of this match? Michael Dobson's just hoping that the second hand ticks as quick as it can. They've given their best effort, but it won't be enough to pick up 2 points here.
Discipline finish, lads.
It's a long journey home as well. They've been on the back of a hiding in the south of France. You don't leave Perpignan Airport until late. Long journey home for the Red Devils.
And then regroup, and you've got a cup tie against the Toronto Wolfpack, who could pose a bit of a threat, Paul Rowley's team. An interesting game at the AJ Bell coming up.
Another strong run by Marjolais. They need a worker in the middle. They found one there in 25. Penalty.
Get the penalty. Keep it going is the signal. Or just go for two. No, Sam Moa will take it in. Ooh. Look for an offload there, Moa.
Go one.
Ayton. Walsh. Bosk tries the kick ahead, and Dupont will get the hat-trick. Vincent Dupont on the end of that kick, and he is all smiles. Vincent Dupont, the loyal servant, making his 200th career appearance, finishes off this Catalan victory.
It's a beautiful kick. It's a really well-weighted kick. I have a feeling it's been pre-called by Vincent Dupont. Will have been keeping a close eye on what his opposite number Johnson's been doing, who's got a tendency to wedge up in defence. Still needs to be executed well. It's inch perfect, and Dupont's a very deserving recipient of a hat-trick.
But he has Thomas Bosk and his inch perfect kick to thank for that. On a plate.
It's like a hole-in-one, wasn't it, there? He kicked it exactly where it needed to land. He's delighted, Vincent Dupont. Look, smiles and waves. What a great afternoon, evening it's been for him.
First two tries of the game from Vincent Dupont, and he's, barring anything more dramatic, he's got the last try of the game. And Tony Gigot is going to take the goal-kicking duties. Luke Walsh is obviously in a sulk, having missed the last kick.
So this is the pecking order then. Walsh, Gigot, then Myler would be third on the list.
Thomas Bosk, surely.
Let's see if the Frenchman can knock this one over.
Gigot, it favours his kicking style. Dupont's try and Gigot's conversion. And it's been a good afternoon from him, and certainly a good one from this man, Vincent Dupont.
Well, we've seen Thomas Bosk put this kick in for tries in the past. He's certainly not lost the skill or the accuracy to put it exactly where his colleague needs the ball to come down. And it's capped off what's been a great performance from the Catalan Dragons, both in attack and, again, importantly, in defence. They've shown an ability to concentrate for longer periods than they have in previous matches.
And second career hat-trick for Vincent Dupont for the Catalan Dragons. The Dragon supporters delighted with what they've seen from their side on a sunny evening in Perpignan. 36 points to 6. 38 points to 6. The scoreline. An emphatic Catalan Dragons win, and a difficult game this was for them against the in-form Salford Red Devils, who'd got 5 wins behind them going into the game, but this was maybe a task too far for Salford this weekend.
Yeah, we focus on the positives. Another barnstorming performance from Remy Casti. Sam Moa's been influential. Obviously, Dupont with a hat-trick. I think Luke Walsh has had one of the best games I've seen in Catalan colours, and they're off again.
Oh, don't tell me Inu's gone down. Another casualty, no, for Catalan Dragons. He got injured in this game against Salford last year and was out for quite some time. And he's obviously struggling after that run. Margalet will play the ball. Final action of this game at the Stade Gilbert Brutus, where the Catalan Dragons are extending their winning sequence to 3 games as Inu goes down.
I'm not sure if it's the surface here, the pitch itself that gets him with a divot or a ditch, a mini ditch that he's just fallen his foot into. He's back up and moving, and I think the players are happy with that as a final score.
Inu, maybe that wonky knee might be the problem. Michael Dobson just hoping for that final hooter to sound.
Referee Phil Bentham just asked Michael Dobson, are we going to pack it down or not? And he went, no.
And that is it, the final action of this game. Phil Bentham signals final whistle. Catalan Dragons celebrate. They are all smiles. Disappointing end to the Easter campaign. Former Saints, Tassie and Walsh share a smile, but Luke Walsh and his Catalan Dragons colleagues with plenty to smile about after that emphatic victory, which featured Vincent Duport's hat-trick.
Well, less than half-time. Could Salford overturn a 14-0 deficit? The answer was an emphatic no, as the Catalan Dragons record a 3rd consecutive Super League victory, 38 points to 6 against Salford. Significant result for both sides. We came expecting a Salford reaction in that second half, Barry McDermott, but it was the Catalan Dragons again through Christian Anu who started the best.
Well, it's a lovely take from the centre. Just picked up a bad injury at the back end of that game. 14-0 at half-time. They came out, began the scoring, but what about this for a run from Justin Carney's 3rd try of 2017. Such a powerful runner. Big stride, and there's nobody anywhere near him, actually.
20 points to 6 after Justin Carney's length of the field effort. But Terry, then it was all the Catalan Dragons till the final whistle. Richie Myler try from Luke Wall's kick.
Yeah, well, the bounce of the ball just beating Salford, and Richie Myler and his teammates, I thought they were dominant right the way through this game. The way that they played. A lot of 2-on-1 here. You think that Salford are going to score a try, but the maverick player that he is, Tony Gigot, just puts himself in between those 2 players, comes up with a simple try, and they just seem to play on the front foot right the way through the game. Luke Walsh playing behind a decent set of forwards that were going forward, a couple of drop goals from them, Brian, and it was just an incredible turnaround in form for them. They've won the last 3 games now.
That was Luke Walsh managing the game. It was nice to see Vincent Duport cap off a brilliant individual performance with his hat-trick try.
And he deserved this as well. I thought the man of the match, and the difference between the 2 sides was Luke Walsh himself, but a commanding performance from the centre.
All right, Vincent Duport finished off that 38 points to 6, the scoreline in the end, and this is what it does to the table. Salford missed out on the chance to go joint top of the table. The Catalan Dragons, well, they're in 8th position still, but they now have 2 points between themselves and the Warrington Wolves. All right, just cap off that game for us, Barry McDermott. Your thoughts on the Catalan Dragons' performance? We came expecting a Salford win, if not a Salford performance, and it was all Catalan.
Well, I think the story of this game is about Salford. They dropped the chips, really. They had a chance to get as far up the ladder in terms of Super League that they've ever been in their history, and they didn't play to anywhere near the potential. But credit Catalan, and we talked about Catalan at home. They need to be good at home because
they need to send that crowd home happy.
Of course they do. It's a vociferous crowd. It's a wonderful atmosphere when you're there. When Catalan are winning, when they're not winning, it's a different story. But the Salford side, really, I think massively underperformed today.
Challenge for Ian Watson now to manage this after 5 consecutive victories, to manage not just the defeat, Terry, but the manner of defeat.
Well, they've got to go away and lick the wounds, haven't they? Because I was disappointed with Todd Carney. I didn't really hear his name throughout that game, but whether or not that's because they were playing on the back foot because of how dominant the French forwards were, I just thought that they ripped in. They didn't hold back, Brian. The way that Luke Walsh and Richie Myler seemed to run that game for them, the kicking game, they were playing behind a strong kicking game, and Salford didn't really seem to have anything. So Ian Watson is going to be disappointed. He's going to come back, but he's got to prepare his side for next week, hasn't he?
Yeah, plenty for Salford to contemplate on their journey home. We brought you all the action from the south of France, brought you all the action from here at Wakefield as we saw the champions Wigan run out winners in the end. We're going to have a break coming up now, and after that we will bring you all the tries from the remaining 4 fixtures. A win for the Wolves, sensational Saints, rampant Rhinos, and a much happier Hull FC. All the action for the remaining games of round 10 in just a moment.
What a comeback! And what a beautiful kick!
Yorkshire Building Society knows what it feels like to outgrow your home. And for over 150 years, we've been helping people, like you, make the next step to their new home a reality. You'll know when the time is right. And when you do, we'll be there. Yorkshire Building Society.
Any man, any occasion, Giacomo fits.
This April, Sky Arts rocks.
We're not kidding, boys and girls.
We go on the road with Brian Johnson.
Cockroaches everywhere. Some of those hotels needed smashing up.
How tragedy inspired the creativity of the Manic Street Preachers.
After everything going wrong, everything felt like it was finally going right in a strange kind of way.
Explore the turbulent career of Joe Cocker.
It's startling how strong his voice was.
And Don Letts reflects on a time where punk and reggae collided.
And lucky for me, the punk liked it too.
New original documentaries and so much more on demand. Sky Arts rocks all this April.
Second, third effort, fourth effort.
That's desire. That running's all about desire.
Big win for Laurent Fresneau and the Catalan Dragons, and it should be no surprise for the 4th Easter in a row. Catalan Dragons win both of their matches, 14-0 at half-time, and they extended that to a 38-6 victory. Now, just a rundown on the remaining results from round 10. We brought you the action here at the Beaumont Legal Stadium between Wigan and Wakefield. The champions winning out 16-10. Leeds 42-22 winners against Widnes. Hull FC bounced back from a pair of consecutive defeats where they conceded over 50 points to beat Lee 24 points to 10. Maybe the result of the round was St Helens win at home under Jamal Lolesi and Sean Long post Kieran Cunningham 26-22 over league leaders Castleford. Warrington much needed win over fellow bottom 4 occupants Huddersfield 26-24, and as I said, Catalan 38 points to 6 winners over Salford. All match highlights available on skysports.com/rugby league. Here's the updated Betfred Super League table. Salford missed the chance to go joint top of the table. That's a position occupied by Castleford and Leeds. But for the Catalan Dragons, they now put some healthy breathing space between themselves and the bottom 4. Well, that was the result in the south of France. We are still here at the Beaumont Legal Stadium, where behind us the Sheffield Eagles are warming up ahead of their Kingston Press Championship match against Dewsbury, who had a first win under new coach Neil Kelly on Good Friday. The action will take place here shortly, but we have got a busy Easter programme to wrap up now. We've seen the game here at Wakefield, Barry and Terry. We've seen the result from the south of France. We'll go now and have a look at the game at the Totally Wicked Stadium, where St Helens, very good in defeat on Good Friday, were up against Castleford, and many people thought that St Helens, probably the energy battle would be in Castleford's favour because of what St Helens expended against Wigan.
And again, I'm almost tempted to focus on Cass for this game, because on the basis that things happen in cycles, at some point Cass were going to run out of juice a little bit, but thought Saints were phenomenal against Wigan.
And Cass started, Barry, as you would expect him, and Greg Eden amongst the scores to start the match.
Well, there's a couple of tries from Greg Eden, a couple of tries from Ben Roberts, so the pivots and the strike out wide all getting involved, and you'd expect some of the bigger blokes backing up over Easter to do their job as effectively as they can. But Saints playing, and dare we say it, the entertaining, the brand of rugby league that the Saints spectators demand.
And once Matty Fleming went over to make it 8-6 to Castleford, was followed by a Luke Douglas try, 12-8, and then Mark Percival came into his own.
He's been the standout player for Saints all year. I think Mark Percival, he's the go-to man, the shining star. And you just look at the way that Saints have played, and I thought, like you said, but I thought they were very good on Good Friday up against the Cass side, which many people thought that Cass were going to just turn up and beat them, but it goes to show how good Saints can be on the day.
Well, it was 20-8 at half-time. That Ben Roberts try made it 20-14 to Castleford, and then Greg Eden scores again, 20-18, before St Helens, Terry, brought the game home.
Yeah, well, I think everyone's waiting for Saints to just start their season, and Kieran Cunningham lost his job, but this is what Saints can do. Castleford have been the form side right the way through the year. They score some brilliant tries, the way that they shift the ball from one side of the pitch to the other. The forwards like to go at the line, passing nice little twos plays. But Saints, look at this, the way they shift that ball, the way they turn up for each other. Defensively, they were good as well in this game.
Hasn't he had a big couple of days? Regan Grace, my word, coming to the Saints side, grabbed his opportunity with both hands, and good on him. It's great to see it when kids embrace the limelight and don't get crushed by the pressure.
How big a result is this for both St Helens and Castleford? I mean, Castleford is still sitting pretty at the top of the table, but I suppose, Terry, St Helens in particular, this is a massive result. It'll fulfill the old cliche of a team responding to the departure of a coach. You know, good against Wigan in defeat, and of course that significant result. But do you reassess St Helens' chances after that performance?
You certainly, you look at them and you say, yeah, they can play. That's even if you've not looked at them in that way. Saints are a very, very good side. They were up against Wigan. They were down to 12 men after 13 minutes, and they still performed. They still had chances in that game to win. And what they've done, they've turned up with the right attitude today. They're playing the league leaders, the team that's blowing teams away this year, and they've beat them. So that just sends out a message to the rest of the league that Saints can play. I'm always, every time I watch Saints, I'm just waiting for them, whether you're on 60 minutes, 70 minutes, they're behind by 2 scores, 3 scores, you'd expect them just to kickstart and go. And as I say, Matt Percival is one of those standout players that just seems to be coming up with all the right answers this year.
contextually, Barry, this is a huge result because of who it's come against, Castleford, and how good they were on Friday against Wakefield.
Yeah, because they were beginning to have that aura, and you don't go to a Castleford game now expecting a result, or you're almost not interested in the result. And I am a great rugby league fan, so I love to see the game played in a way that excites me. Castleford excite me when I watch them play, and for Saints to match them, for Saints to outplay them, we saw with some of the ball movements, some of the strike and tries that are scored now. Two great tries. Two great teams, sorry.
Yep, the entertainers, St Helens, may be back. Are the Warrington Wolves back now? 3 consecutive victories for them. This one came against Huddersfield. Now, difficult times for Huddersfield, but a very good result for Warrington. Harvey Levette comes back in, played in the centres. He scored first before Darnell McIntosh equalised for Huddersfield. And then Terry, Darrell Clark put Warrington back in front, and it looked like then that they may edge it out.
Yeah, well Warrington, a team that like to play on the front foot, and Darrell Clark, when he gets the ball, there's not many players in Super League that have got his vision, his speed off the mark. And again, Warrington are one of those sides that they've been faltering this year. They've been down the bottom end of the table. All of a sudden, you seem to kick into gear. No, they can hurt anybody. There's a lot of players in Super League that are making names for themselves this year. And
Jake Mamo in his second match for Huddersfield, although he'd made a score 10 all. Danny Brough kicked a penalty, 12-10, and then Kurt Gidley scored that try just before half-time. It was then Huddersfield in the second half that blew out to a lead, with Brough try and a Brough penalty.
Well, Danny Brough can turn a game on his own, we know that, and in some ways, in some aspects, Huddersfield as a team need to keep up with him. I think Warrington will look at this game and be happy with the 2 points. They'll look at the opposition that they played against on Thursday and Monday and say they perhaps are teams we should be beating. We shouldn't look at this and be happy with just to get the result. But I think they've a chance to do it.
Terry, with a minute to go, McGilvery crosses in the corner. Brough with a conversion to win the match.
Nerves.
Or draw the match, I should say.
Yeah, the nerves. And you can see the Warrington fans go up